This is In Focus. I'm John Lieberman, and look, it's no secret that retailers have been hit extremely hard, both in March and April, and as we now move into May. There's just no doubt about it. The question is, how can retail weather this crisis, pivot to make their customers happy, and come out the other end a little bit stronger? And I really have an expert panel with me today to discuss that, and I want to introduce them one by one. First, we have two startup CEOs. We have Ashley Crowder, the CEO and co-founder of Ventana, and she's doing a lot of neat stuff. We'll get to her in a second. Sandeep Bhanot, the CEO and co-founder of Radius 8, and then my friend Matt Lukaitis, the executive VP and GM right here with SAP Consumer Industry. So before we talk about kind of how bad things are, Ashley, let's start with this, the good side of things. Tell us a little bit about Ventana and how you kind of give people a 3D shopping experience using AR and virtual reality.
Yeah, thanks so much. It's great to be here. As you said, I'm the co-founder and CEO of Ventana. And at Ventana, we make it easy to take existing manufacturing design files and immediately create 3D web and AR experiences proven to more than double conversion rates and reduce returns by 40%. So I can show you real quick what I'm talking about. This is an app, and I'm actually not wearing shoes. I'm wearing socks. And these are a 3D overlay. So I can actually do virtual try on at home. And this can be with shoes, with jewelry. You can look at furniture in your house. But especially with COVID and quarantine right now, this is the next best thing customers can get to actually, going into a store and seeing a product. And it really is proven to double conversion rates.
Wow, so this truly enhances the customer experience when they can't walk into the store and touch a piece of jewelry or try shoes on.
Exactly. It gives customers, it's proven a better understanding of that product to see it at all angles, and then actually taking AR one step further, doing virtual try-on. Companies like House have seen 11x increase in conversions, and IKEA, when they started, saw a 30% increase in revenue, and that was pre-COVID.
Yeah, and I was going to say, this actually is, obviously it's useful now during the pandemic, but this is something retailers can use into the future.
Yeah, e-commerce is not going anywhere. If anything, COVID has kind of sped up the need for people to have more and better digital experiences. But e-commerce is the future, and we're here to help make it easy to create these 3D models at scale. Because when you're talking about Adidas or Nike, they launch 25,000 products a year. They can't manually create all that stuff. So our software is helping automate that process.
Absolutely. I want to bring in Sandeep too, and I should mention Ashley and Sandeep, both part of the SAP IO Foundry Startup Accelerator Program. So that's exciting. Now, Sandeep, Radius 8, I'm told, uses geolocation data to give people this kind of hyper-local shopping experience. Take me inside of that. What does that really mean?
Yeah, it's very straightforward. So the whole idea and the whole thinking is this. Why is it that, the e-commerce site looks the same no matter where you are, particularly if you're a retailer that has lots of stores? So what our technology does is it takes the consumer location and determines their proximity to any one of the stores in that retail chain and dynamically changes the e-commerce experience to reflect where they are. So if I'm in Seattle or Miami or LA or New York, maybe it's snowing in one area, raining in the other, and it's a beautiful day in the other location. Why not show a site experience that reflects all three of those conditions, right? Or maybe I'm near a poor performing store and that store needs some help. Why not commandeer some of that foot traffic around that store location and drive well needed traffic to that store? So, Radius 8's point of view is, quite frankly, it's the power of both digital and physical stores together that really will propel retail to sort of the next level.
Well, that's what I find fascinating, Sandeep, is this idea, you said it, this kind of integration between the physical stores and the digital experience. People like myself have always thought of retail as sort of either online or you're going into the store.
Yeah, that's traditionally how it's been. And quite frankly, I think the focal point has often been just inventory. How do I expose inventory? And inventory was typically thought of the bridge between what's happening physically and that sort of translation into what a digital experience is. But the reality is, all these stores have all these wonderful things that happen in those physical stores that almost never get communicated digitally, and better yet, not even communicated digitally within the radius of that physical store.
Matt, let me bring you into the conversation. I know you spend your life talking to customers in North America in the retail sector. Today, a headline was that Macy's plans to open all of their retail stores within the next 4 to 6 weeks. What are you hearing from your customers in the retail space right now?
Well, certainly we're hearing a lot of what I'd call cautious optimism. I think people are really looking forward to getting back to as close to normal as possible. What I also hear quite a bit is people want to make sure that they're reinforcing their strength as they do that, right? So a lot of these retailers, Macy's included, have a core strength and an identity with their customers. And technologies and great partners like Ventana and Radius 8 help those retailers underscore that and truly deliver on that experience. Because whether it's an online experience, whether it's a traditional brick and mortar experience, the winners of the future are the ones that are really able to maintain that brand consistency and that brand promise, and then be much more loyal and relevant to their customers as they execute on what's going to happen next as they reopen those stores.
Yeah, and you touched on this, but I want to go a little bit deeper. How does this pandemic, Matt, sort of spotlight the need for retail to really push the envelope with technology like Ashley's doing, like Sandeep's company is doing? What is it showing us?
It's really showing us that the people that are going to be able to best navigate the crisis are the ones that can be creative and agile in terms of operating in the current environment. And that's equally true for a customer that's on the maybe one store in a local community that has a great brand promise and great loyal customers locally, but it also is equally important for someone that's got thousands of stores nationally. It's the ability to really connect with those consumers. We're seeing a lot of innovation at the small company end where people are doing very creative things around in-store shopping, FaceTiming with customers, having special events, segregating their customers to say if they are close by or they're in a certain neighborhood that's close by, they segregate them and give them a unique experience. We're also seeing, as Ashley pointed out earlier, the propensity to focus on giving that great experience so they can still experience the merchandise in their own home in a way that's going to make sense to them within that brand context.
So what I'm hearing from all three of you is the idea of just how important customer experience is, whether it's in-store, online, on your phone, anything. Ashley, let me ask you this. How is this technology, in your opinion, going to change kind of the future of retail? And are we going to see kind of a new normal for the future of retail?
Completely. You know, e-commerce before COVID was growing at about 15% per year. 2020, it's now already grown by 20% and more. Artillery Intelligence did a really interesting consumer study that said 45% of consumers want to try AR/VR shopping, and 30% said if that can provide them a good enough information to make a decision to buy, they would never want to go into a retail store again. So people want this content and they want this option, and COVID really has just sped up because, as you know, Matt said, people who can move fast and quickly during this time are going to capitalize.
Wow. Sandeep, let me move over to you for a second. You know, you're in New Jersey, a very hard hit area by this pandemic. What are you hearing in terms of from customers about their confidence in retail and what they're feeling about, the future?
Well, I mean, I could tell you, so one, as you can imagine, we're talking to our customers on a daily basis. The growth of the velocity of online sales is obviously increasing because of the pandemic, where they're going to go to shop, right? Most of them are going to go online. But I think there's a little, I think an important nuance here is that the type of online traffic you're seeing happens to be that type of traffic that's omni-channel driven. So a lot of those retailers that have curbside pickup capability, the increase of that type of transaction is becoming more and more and more. I think what you're going to see coming out of this is a truer, much stronger convergence of these channels and how important they are. Because now what's going to happen is what this forced our consumer to do is to not only buy online, but also become more and become more of an omni-channel buyer. I think what's also going to be really even more clear, if it's not clear now, is that the importance of these two channels coexisting together to complement and support each other are going to be critical. Because I don't think you're not going to see this. You're not going to see e-commerce is going to take off and stores are just dead. That's not going to happen. What you are going to see is a different role play and a different sort of elevated experience between both of these different channels, and it's an elevated experience in a post-COVID world. What I'm hearing is, we expect our customers to be more omni-channel driven, right? You've got an online customer who just buys online, a store customer who just buys in store. You're going to see more of that convergence happening now post-COVID.
Matt, to Sandeep's point, I want to ask you this. Has this pandemic almost been kind of a proof of concept of how retailers have to digitally transform? I mean, has this kind of shown them, it was always theoretical, right? It was theoretical that something like this could happen. Has this now shown them that it can and will happen, and that's why digital transformation is so important?
Consumers don't care the size of your company. They don't care if you have 1,000 stores across the country. They don't care if you're global. But if you give them a great experience, or they have a great experience somewhere else that's completely unrelated, like if they have a great experience going to a restaurant and supporting a great local restaurant through curbside pickup, they're going to want to expect the same thing the next time they go shopping for a pair of shoes, right? So it's the ability to have the understanding of all the different tiles on the mosaic that the consumer expects, and the ability to stitch them together. And what we're seeing is, we're so gratified that we're working with so many companies that have embraced the power of digital transformation over the years, and having that intelligent enterprise infrastructure to be able to take advantage of these new opportunities. It doesn't have to be that hard to put these together. So you can talk about speed and simplicity and agility in the same sentence, and really keep delivering on that consumer's ever-growing expectation.
It's a really interesting conversation. Ashley, Sandeep, Matt, thank you all very much. Stay safe, be well, best of luck. And we trust that you'll all three be continuing to transform the customer experience as we move forward.